What is the difference between tolerating each other and having mutual respect for each other? So the difference between tolerating and respecting. And I would take it even a step further, which is accepting. Tolerating is far from our highest goal. But even respect, while certainly a higher goal than tolerance, isn't the highest we can go. We can go from tolerance to respect, and then from respect, we can go to acceptance, and from acceptance, we can go to love. So, too frequently though, in our families, in our workplaces, in our communities of people of different religions, different colors, you hear so frequently people talking about tolerating each other. We should create a world of tolerance. And tolerance is certainly better than intolerance. But as we work, as we grow, as we expand, we have to really allow ourselves to ask ourselves, what's the best I can do? If there's someone, different race, different religion, different culture, different sexual orientation, different personality, is the best I can do just to tolerate them? No. I can actually embrace them. And so tolerance tends to be something that we do with a wall between us. So I will agree to coexist with you on my side of the wall. You agree to coexist with me on your side of the wall, but there's still a wall between us. The minute we get actually into respect and love, that wall disintegrates. And so that's what's really essential, is our world today, we need a lot more than tolerance. First, we need to build the tolerance, but then we need to go beyond it. But as we ask ourselves, well, all right, so let's start with tolerance. How do we even build that? It requires us to actually breathe into the awareness that the universe has no responsibility to act according to how I dictate. That the universe has no responsibility to do what I say, to dance according to my tune, to jump when I say jump, because my lack of tolerance comes because on some level I believe that you should be the way I want you to be. If I don't tolerate you, it's a conscious choice I've made. It's a conscious choice I've made that says I'm right, you're wrong. I know the way things should be. I know the way people should be. I know the way that you should speak. I know the way you should act. I know what's right. And you are wrong. Whether you're the wrong color, whether you're the wrong religion, whether you're the wrong socioeconomic status, whether you're the wrong sexual orientation, whatever it may be, whether you load the dishwasher in the wrong way, it's me saying, I know the right way, and I refuse to budge. I refuse to bend. That's what lack of tolerance is. Lack of tolerance is a very a very conscious decision I have made not to budge, not to bend, not to accept that there might be another way. And so this is where actually the practice of moving from intolerance to tolerance, from tolerance to respect, from respect to acceptance, and from acceptance to love is actually a spiritual practice on my part, because it requires me to change. It requires me to open and soften. It breaks the walls that are inside of me. My lack of tolerance doesn't only hurt the person I don't tolerate. It hurts me. Think in your life about someone who you think in your mind, I just can't tolerate that person. Can't tolerate that guy, can't tolerate that lady, can't tolerate it, won't tolerate it. As you think about that, take a moment, close your eyes, and really conjure up in your mind the image of that person you just can't tolerate. Think about them for a moment. Think about them doing whatever you can't tolerate, or acting that way, or just being there. You just can't tolerate them. Notice what happens in your body as you think about them. Notice especially in your heart. Notice in your belly. Notice in your face. Now think about someone you love. The person you love most unconditionally in the world. Think about them. Notice how the change takes place in your body. Notice what happens in your solar plexus, in your chest, in your belly, in your heart, in your mind, in your face. So open your eyes. Feel the difference? When we can't tolerate, we contract, right? You feel that? You feel it in the heart. The heart just squeezes. The mind squeezes. The belly squeezes. You think about someone you love. Suddenly the whole being just goes, ah. And suddenly we're all open and loose and soft and mushy and beautiful. And so that practice of learning to tolerate and then moving from tolerance to respect to acceptance to love is a practice for us. So there's a lot of difference between tolerating and respecting, as we know. But don't stop at respect. Keep challenging yourself. You've only got a few years left of life. We all only have a few years. Few might be 60 or 70 or 80, but that's still a few. The scheme of things, it's very short. And of course, since none of us knows whether the few means 80 or the few means 2, or the few means a few hours, since we have no way of knowing, why not do all of that which we know we need to do anyway, sooner rather than later? Why go to your deathbed with a really long to-do list? it's just going to create stress at the end. When you think about your to-do lists now, and that's when you're in full faculties, when you don't have nurses rushing in every 30 seconds to check your vital signs, when your bowels work, your bladder works, your digestion works, when you can sleep, when you're not in pain. If in our full faculties, we can't make it through our to-do lists, especially our spiritual to-do lists, why carry them to your deathbed when, in addition to being in pain, systems of the body is going to stop functioning, you're going to have nurses running in all the time? Why not allow yourself at that time to just rest and relax and prepare to move on? Get done whatever you need to get done now. Have things you can't tolerate? Learn to tolerate them. Have people you can't love? Learn to love them. You don't have to love their actions. You don't have to love their personalities. You don't have to love their behavior. But at least love the spirit of who they are in such a way that their behaviors and their actions don't keep you up at night. Don't make you tense in the heart and the stomach and the mind. Don't allow it to be something that you carry with you for the years of your life. When you know you've got to do something, do it now. It's like students who, come home from school and play and watch TV and do all of that, and then they go for dinner and finally sit down to do their homework at 10 o'clock at night when they're exhausted, and then they stay up until 3, and then they wonder why they fail the exams. Right? I mean, as just a parent, a teacher, a mentor, a guide, anyone with common sense, you'd say, for God's sakes, do the work when you're awake and fresh. Don't wait until 10 o'clock at night when you're exhausted to sit down and study for your exam. Come home from school, freshen up, and then sit down and do your homework. So that later at night when you're tired, that's the time to read your book or watch your show or do whatever you want to do. Don't handicap yourself when you're already exhausted at 11 o'clock at night by trying to learn calculus. It's hard enough in the daytime. In the same way, why wait until those hours of our life to do what we know we need to do? Do them now. And what you'll find is not only is your deathbed going to be much more peaceful, but actually all of these beautiful years that we have between now and then, they're going to be much more peaceful. They're going to change not just the time of your passing, but they're going to change the time of your living.